Hey guys, welcome back. My name is Mike and this is Hidden Creek Homestead. So today you're hanging out with me in the shop, which has lately become one of my favorite places to be. I'll explain why as this video goes on. First, I want to talk a little bit about our channel and homesteading. For those of you that might not have been here for the whole journey, we lived in New York all of our life and we grew up just like everyone else. Mom and dad breaking their chops, working jobs, and struggling to put food on the table the best they can, and making their way through life. And we lived in the city. We did the city grind, get on the train every day and go to work and all that good stuff. And we both worked in Manhattan, lived in the boroughs. It came to a certain point in our life where we were basically watching like a Netflix special one day, and it was about where our food comes from. And I decided that I got kind of grossed out, and so did my wife, and we didn't really want to eat that food. So the first thing I thought was, well, we'll go to, we'll find a farm out east in Long Island where we lived in New York, and we'll find something that's like, pasture-raised chicken, pasture-raised pork, something that's healthier that we could eat, and, we could see where the animals are and how they're living and all that type of thing. So we did that. Of course, we went out to go buy meat, and I think the first chicken that we found was like $27 at the time, and now it's, inflation, chicken's even more than that now, but we're like, okay, well, we can't afford $27 per chicken every time we want to, have chicken salad. It's a little nuts. So what are we going to do? We're just thinking about it. We're like, we bought as much organic stuff as we can and all that type of stuff. And I'm not a crazy organic person either. Just don't mistake what I'm saying. You have to eat organic. I tried really hard to do the right thing and buy good, clean, wholesome products. We went to farmers markets. It got incredibly expensive, and we were like, man, I would love to one day move out to the country and buy ourselves a home where we could have a huge garden. My wife always had a small little garden in the backyard, planted a couple of vegetables and whatnot, and it was great. But we wanted to do something on a bigger scale. We wanted to raise some animals for consumption. We wanted to have a bigger garden to pick our own vegetables. And COVID actually made that possible for us to relocate, and we did. Shortly after COVID started, we got the okay, and we planned it all out. We moved down here to South Carolina, and it's been great. We love it here. We had a little health hiccup when we got here, and we've overcome that, and things are looking good for us now. So, about homesteading, I should have named this channel the Half-Ass Homesteader, because that's really what I am. If you guys watch other homestead channels, you'll notice that a lot of people that homestead make homesteading who they are. I mean, it's their entire identity. It's just who they are as a person. It's what they do. Homesteading to me is something that I do. It doesn't define me. It's not who I am. I am not a homesteader by any stretch of the imagination. It's just something that we do for ourselves. Unfortunately, sometimes that makes for bad YouTube content because I'm not living and breathing and eating and sleeping homesteading like some of these other people are. So I struggle to find stuff to show you guys sometimes, which, when we first moved here, there's a lot more videos more frequently. Now things are kind of in a routine and there's not as many videos coming because there's just not that much to show you. However, since I built the shop, one thing that you guys may or may not have known about me before we moved out here is that I've always been a huge car guy. And we had a little garage back in New York, which is a 2-car garage. It was jam-packed with all my tools and stuff, and I struggled to get stuff in there done, but we did work. Me and my son built a classic Trans Am, and we had fun doing that. And when we moved, I missed it right away, and I said, well, we'll put up a shop one day, and we'll start getting back into classic car restoration and building hot rods and all that again one day. And that's exactly what we're doing. So lots has gone on in this shop since I've last had you guys in here. I think the last video might have been either the welding outlet or the lights. Well, we've moved all our tools in here, as you can see, and then we went and picked up some toys to play with. So there's a toy here, and there's a toy there. There's toys everywhere. All right, so what do we have here? This is the cab and frame of a 55 Chevy truck. This is kind of a dream vehicle of mine. I've always wanted one. Obviously it's in pieces. All of the other parts are over there. I've looked for years and years and years to find one of these vehicles, and you know, it's almost 70 years old, so a lot of them were just, they look like Swiss cheese. There's so many holes and rust, and they're just crumbling as you touch them and falling apart. This one was solid, and I jumped on it. I've always wanted this, and I found a really good one to start working on, so I grabbed it. I have more vehicles here than I have drivers in this house. I mean, my actual vehicles outside. And for some of you guys have been watching, we've had an old GMC work truck that, since I bought my new truck, and we have the SUV, and it's just kind of sitting there rotting away. And I had put 2 batteries in it because it just couldn't keep it charged. So I sold that, and I bought this. So it's all here. Frame's good. All the metal is good. Usually these floors are rotten out. That's the centerpiece they took out, but the floors are solid. These steps are usually all rotten out. They're solid. The classic part on these trucks that go bad is the cab corners on both sides rot out. These have actually already been done. Somebody started doing the metal work and did the cab corners already. One of the things you get nervous about is if it's done right. So I did kind of stick my head inside there and look and verify that they actually welded on new cab corners and everything was done correctly. So just a really good solid project to start with. Over here is all the other panels. You've got the 2 front fenders, 2 rear fenders, the bed sides, which you can't see. The hood's in great shape. Both doors are in great shape. Lots of little panels and other parts. The tailgate is shot, needs to be replaced, but most of the metal is just really, really tight without rot and holes in it. So it's just extremely rare for a truck this age to find something in that good a condition. So toy number 2, take a walk with me and we'll come take a look at this here. This is, I know it doesn't look very nice, but this is a 75 Corvette. It's a C3, they call it. It's the Stingray. I'm not sure, I think they stopped the Stingray a couple of years after that, the Stingray name anyway. But that is a C3 3rd generation Corvette. That's my wife's car. She has, ever since I've known her since she was a kid, she's always loved the C3 or the 3rd generation Corvettes. So when she was sick last year, she went through the fight of her life. She was really tough. She embraced it and just inspired me. And with everything that she did, and she didn't stop working, she didn't stop anything through all that treatment. And I said to her, you know, I think it's time. And when she came out on the other side of it, I said, I think it's time that we get you your Corvette. So we looked around and found a decent one. Not a lot of rot or rust on that one either, and we're going to start restoring that for her to get her dream car that she always wanted. So what's the plan? Well, this truck is going to be what's called a frame off restoration. Basically, we're stripping the whole thing down to nothing, and I'm just about ready to take the cab off the frame. It's actually unbolted. It's just sitting on there right now. Once that happens, we're going to build a cart, put the cab on a little cart so that we can work on it, and we're going to dig into the frame. The frame's getting all new front and rear suspension. We're going to beef up the frame a little bit because these old frames were kind of, they use C-channel. They weren't the greatest. So we're going to beef that up a little bit. New rear end, and then we're going to start on our body work once we get that all squared away. We went to the junkyard the other day and we picked up a new power plant. We got an engine right there behind us. That is the coveted LS series of Chevrolet engines that everyone's nuts for these days. So this is a 6.0. It's a Chevy LS. It is the designated code of LY6. Basically, this is from an 07 to 08 Chevrolet Silverado 2500. They're about 363 horsepower from the factory. And for any of you guys who don't know, you can do just some very simple tuning via the computer or ECM, if you will, to easily bump this thing up with some simple bolt-ons to like 420 horsepower, which is all the power I would ever need for this classic Chevy truck over here. Okay, so why get the engine now when I'm just ripping the truck apart and it's not going to go in for a while? Well, we're actually closer than you think, because once we pull that cab off the frame and we get our frame lined up, the next thing's going to be we have to get our engine mocked up in place where it's going to be. Because remember, the truck didn't come with this engine. This came with, I believe, a 265, or it might have even been the straight 6. I'm not sure. I didn't run the VIN code yet. but it definitely didn't come with this. So where it's going to wind up in the frame is going to have to get mocked up. We're going to have to make special engine mounts for it, and we're going to have to make sure that it clears the firewall on the cab, that it doesn't hit. So I needed the actual engine block to be here for the engine that I'm going to be using. So we went and found it at a junkyard. They're getting really tough to find now, these LSs, because everyone likes them. They make a lot of horsepower for cheap, and the secret's kind of out. So people have been going to junkyards, buying them up, and then, you know, all this COVID stuff and supply line stuff has kind of like messed up that whole routine of picking these engines out of junkyards too. They're kind of starting to dry up now a little bit, and prices are going up. So anyway, that's the plan for the Chevy. It's a frame off restoration, which basically means a complete restoration from the ground up. The engine's getting redone, the CAD, all the body work is getting sanded, and we're having to do a nice paint job on it. The frame's getting redone, all new suspension, all new plumbing and lines and electric and just everything all new. So it's basically going to be a brand new truck when we're done with it. Only almost 70-year-old brand new truck, if that makes sense. So the Corvette's a little bit of a different story. It's not getting a frame off restoration. Number one, taking these off of a frame is actually kind of challenging because they are fiberglass cars. For those of you who don't know, there's no metal body parts on them, and they're not bolted up like these Chevy panels are. They're actually glued on with bonding strips. So it's kind of a nightmare. There's people that do it and they're really, really good at it, and that's their craft. That's not me. So she also this is going to be what's called a driver. She really wants to get into this and just start driving and having fun with it. So the engine does run. It's a Chevy 350, which is pretty common in most of these cars. Plan is to get this in running order sooner than later. We're going to pull this motor out, freshen it up. A lot of this, you know, old style air conditioning, all this vacuum lines and wiring and all this stuff is getting yanked out. I like a nice clean engine bay, so we're going to redo a lot of that. The body is actually straight. The previous owner had started sanding it down. It was not a great paint job. It was black. The original color is actually orange. You can see it there. But it was black, glossy black, not that great. And he started sanding it down, and you can tell there was just years of different color paint that went on this thing. There's white. The original color was orange, and then they did white again, and then they did black. It's a mess. So engine's coming out, engine bay is getting refreshed, engine's getting refreshed. We're gonna sand this body down nice and smooth to get it in primer. We have some work to do here. This bumper, the previous owner tried to fiberglass it onto the body and did a really bad job of it. There's a broken fender right over here. I don't know if you can see it. There it goes. So we're gonna refiberglass that on. I gotta break this bond here and get rid of this front bumper because I don't like this bumper style. We're gonna change it for her. The back bumper, it doesn't have the spoiler, and both her and I agree that we like the version from 78 or 79, I believe it, 79 to 82 that has a little bit of a spoiler on it. So we're gonna pop that off and change it, and then get everything in primer, and the body will be ready for paint. The only other thing we're gonna do is the interior, and obviously the glass needs to be changed. So we're gonna do all new interior, new glass, sand this, get it in primer, get it looking good, get it in paint, engine refresh and engine bay, and the Corvette will be ready for her to start whipping around and having fun with. So I want to be fair to you guys. You guys have been with me for a long time. I know there's channels that have hundreds of thousands of subscribers. I'm not one of them. I work really hard to make videos. I'm still not that great at it, but you guys have been loyal to me, and I don't want to turn a homesteading channel into a hot rodding channel. You know, if you guys are here to watch me grow tomatoes, I don't think you're gonna want to watch me grow Chevys. Some of you might. Some of you might be really into that, and I hope that you are. So what I'm gonna do is we are starting a new channel, but we're still gonna keep our homestead channel, and I hope that you guys will come over there and join me and check it out. The name of the new channel is gonna be In the Shop TV, and it's gonna be, you know, pretty much in the shop working on these cars. I mean, they're not gonna take a couple days. This is gonna be years and years of working on these things. And if I know myself, I know that when they're done, there'll probably be another one, because I just like doing this a lot. So I hope to see you guys on the new channel where we work on these cars. And don't worry, the homesteading is still going. This is where we live. This is what we do. That's not going away. We'll still have those videos for you on the Hidden Creek Homestead channel. But that's pretty much it, man. I hope to see you guys on the new channel. And I hope to stay with me on the homesteading channel. And hope everyone is well. Enjoying your summer, you're not melting too much, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Thanks and be good. Man, did I just film a video with that whole mess under there? Sorry guys, yikes. You guys remember these chrome gauge bezels from the 50s? Man, are they cool or what? All right, bye.